It finally leaked as an NHL insider reveals the truth on the Jordan Kyrou situation with rumors and speculations flying everywhere. We finally get a clear-cut answer on what the St. Louis Blues have been planning with Kyrou this entire offseason. We're going to break down all this, the implications, and all of these reports later on this episode. Before we get into that, if you're a part of the 76.6% watching this and you haven't hit the sub button yet, we're going to set the goal to, 64%. Neil Yakubov's number with the St. Louis Blues. A little throwback there. So make sure to go down and hit that subscribe button so we can hit 64% of you guys not subscribed. But let's just hop straight into the first topic today, where we did get a quote coming from an NHL insider, Greg Wyninski. And he says, the Jordan Kyrou trade rumors to me was gauging the marketplace. I think the Blues weren't in a hurry to be like, we gotta trade Kyrou, or else they would have done it before the no trade clause kicked in. So the biggest thing is, we know there's been so much flying around on Jordan Kyrou since the season finished. We're seeing reports coming left and right, even from Elliot Freeman saying teams like Montreal and Seattle. Toronto has been linked. It seems like every team has been linked to Jordan Kyrou, but it's starting to show that Doug Armstrong was kind of just dangling some bait around, going fishing, if you want to say, and seeing if he could get a big bite. And I mean, the biggest thing, dear, is we know how good Kyrou is. We want to make it clear. We want to keep Jordan Kyrou. But what is your thoughts on it? All signs seeming pointing towards Kyrou staying with this team.
Well, I guess Doug Armstrong was getting ready for his summer activities, which we know he now has the gone fishing sign up on the office and won't be back till probably August. Although I'm sure that's not necessarily true. I'm sure he's still fielding things, but it sounds like, and ultimately, I believe that they want to hang on to Jordan Kyrou at this point in time. I'm sure they were just trying to see what was out there. If something really blew them away, then they go, okay, maybe we do consider moving off of Jordan Kyrou if we can get, another sturdy defenseman and maybe a couple other pieces or something like that. So I'm sure they were just gauging the market. We've been talking a lot about the rumors surrounding Kyrou on this channel, on Hattrick HQ as well. And ever since, we migrated over from Hattrick HQ. And ultimately, I don't think they necessarily wanted to move off of him in terms of like, we must trade this player. But again, they were just trying to figure out what's his worth. What are, if a team does want him, like the Montreal Canadiens, what are they willing to give up for him, right? So I think it's actually very smart of Doug Armstrong to do that, because we know Alex Steen is taking over after this season as the GM. And heading into the future, I could see a situation where they do want to move this player. It's going to be difficult because he has a no movement clause that just kicked in on July 1st. But I could see a situation where for the next 5 years that he has left on his contract, they go, maybe he isn't going to get us to a Stanley Cup. Maybe, all these things and rumors we've been talking about that aren't necessarily true, but narratives around this player, maybe they are true after we go through this entire season or next season. And then we do have to make a move. And now we know what he is worth. And Doug Armstrong kind of, figured that out this summer. So I think it's, again, just a really good move by Doug Armstrong. Didn't even make a move really, but just fielding what's out there for Jordan Kyrou, because if push comes to shove and you do have to trade him coming down the road here, you have an idea of what he's worth.
Because I think the big thing with Kyrou is we know how good he is. A very skilled player. The only Blue to record 30-goal season in the past 3 years. And he's done it in all 3 years. Kyrou has been super productive. Yes, fans are a little upset with how much he plays on the defensive end. Maybe his physicality is not fully there. But we know Kyrou can score you goals, which is very hard to get in this National Hockey League. There's only so many players in the league that's actually going to go out and get you 30 plus goals a year. And he's done in 3 consecutive years. It's probably going to be 4 and 5 over the next 2 years. But Jordan Kyrou is a huge part of this team. We know Doug Armstrong is fielding offers on almost feels like everyone, except for key pieces on the roster. Robert Thomas is definitely not going anywhere. But we've seen Bolduc go. We've seen the rumors flying around and the reports that they kind of just been dangling him in places. And like you said, Doug Armstrong has made it very clear that he's trying to be active. Like you said, in 21 years, the GM, this is the strangest summer. We've had all our contracts done on July 2nd. We signed Suter and put the go fishing sign on the door. We'll talk to other teams. We'll just prepare for August. This was a quote from Doug Armstrong that we've covered a couple times, but I do expect something to still come this summer. We're looking at a team that is still very competitive, just a goal away or just one save away from advancing to the second round, where this team could have went on another run. We've seen them already do it multiple times and winning a Stanley Cup. but this is a team that wants to actively get better. They're proactively looking to make this a younger team that can still compete, and it does kind of raise some questions of this team can still go out and make a move without Kyrou. Looking at the roster, we know they want to get another center. They want to eventually move Shen down to that third line center spot. Pius Suter is very good on the wing. You can slide him over on the wing. You have a lot of faces. Carbonneau is someone that's trying to get into this lineup, but Darius just kind of looking at this team. We know Jordan Kyrou is getting dangled. If someone calls and says, hey, Sidney Crosby, a first-round pick, Erik Karlsson, 100% retained, and something else, yes, you had to do it. But what is your thoughts on this team still looking for a center position? We know every team in the league is trying to do it, and I think it kind of falls back onto Kyrou getting dangled, because if you get a 1B center offer for Kyrou, it's kind of hard to say no.
Yeah, it would be kind of hard to say no. I don't know if that's out there right now. And again, Jordan Kyrou does kind of control his own destiny as well now, because before July 1st, he could have sent him anywhere for something like that. But I think it's interesting that you brought up, Doug Armstrong, and we've been talking about it the last couple of days in the last couple of videos, that it's a weird summer. Every single team is trying to get better. I can't remember the last time I've seen this. I think the only sellers are the Pittsburgh Penguins, and I don't know if anyone wants to buy what they're selling at this point besides Erik Karlsson, maybe, and maybe Brian Rust, and they have a couple assets, but not for the prices that they're asking. So it's a weird summer where you only have one team that's given up assets. You don't like the prices of the assets, and then everyone else is trying to get better and find centers and all these different positions. And obviously goaltending is a big thing league wide right now as well. The Blues obviously have that locked up, so that was tidy work by Doug Armstrong yet again. But to answer your question, to upgrade at center, it's going to be difficult, and you're going to have to do it via trade. There's nobody left on the free agency market. And I think things are going to get actually very interesting as we head into August. We know that there's a lot of other teams around the league that said they're going to be, very active again in August. So things could definitely be up in the air. And I think as we head into training camp, a couple guys could come into camp and surprise. And if they do, they're going to have to make space for them. And in doing that, you're going to free up salary cap space, and then maybe you go out and get another center. So it's going to be a tight turnaround time. I think if they're going to get a center, it would be like near the start of the season. But it's definitely still up in the air. And they do have some salary, like some wiggle room, some flexibility with the salary cap space that they have, but they can make more as we head into preseason and the season, because, again, if a couple of the young guys surprise, you're going to be moving out some of the more, not necessarily experienced guys, but other guys kind of on the outside.
Because my big thing is we're looking at a team that has a very good lineup. We've seen how good they were last year. Adam Bukestad, huge fan of that ad. Pius Suter is another great ad that's utility player that you can play up and down the lineup, scoring 25 goals last season and playing top penalty kill minutes. But my biggest thing with this Blues team, even if you don't move a contract out, and like you said, still having $8 million in cap space, they have draft capital. You don't want to mortgage the future to add some pieces to the team. But if a team calls with a second line center and you want to move out maybe a first, an extra fourth, 2/5, another piece, and you can also attach some contracts here. There's a lot of guys trying to fight to get in with this lineup on the bottom of it, on the outside looking in. So if you want to clear up more cap space, you can still attach a couple of these younger pieces, picks, and another roster player to upgrade without moving out Jordan Kyrou, the 3-time 30 goal scorer. That's probably going to do it for the next 8 seasons. But fans, what is your thoughts on this? What is your thoughts on the reports coming out that it felt like Doug Armstrong was kind of just wiggling around and seeing would someone take a bite on the worm, which is Jordan Kyrou coming in? What's your thoughts on all these reports? Would you like to see someone added? Who would you like to see? Is it a free agent, someone that's being sold? Raquel, Brian Rust from Pittsburgh? Go down and let us know down below. While you're down there, leave a like, subscribe, share this with your friends. We'll be back in another episode, so keep your eye out for that. But I've been your host, Mark, with my co-host, Darius, and take care, Blues fans.